Greetings! Welcome to Saint of the Week, the show where we choose one saint's feast day from this week and discuss their life and their impact on the church. The saint for this week is Saint Raymond of Peñafort, whose feast day is January 7th, this Sunday.
Raymond was born in 1175 in the town of Vilafranca del Penedès, Spain. Born of a noble family, he was educated in Barcelona and the University of Bologna. He received doctorates in both canon and civil law and became a professor of canon law in 1195. He taught for 15 years and then moved from Spain to Bologna, Italy.
Raymond stayed in Bologna for 12 years, through which he spent occupying the chair of canon law at the university. It was also in Bologna that he encountered the newly founded Dominican order. He became attracted to the order by the preaching of Blessed Reginald, the Dominican prior in Bologna, and when Raymond returned to Spain in 1222, he joined the order, receiving the habit at the age of 47.
In 1229, Raymond was appointed theologian and penitentiary to John of Abbeville, the Cardinal Archbishop of Sabina, and a year later he was summoned to Rome by Pope Gregory IX, who appointed him chaplain and grand penitentiary. Raymond had already gained a great reputation in juridical sciences, and this prompted Pope Gregory to ask for his help in the rearranging and codifying of canon law. Raymond set to work and compiled 5 books which became known as the Decretals of Gregory IX. They were the standard for almost 700 years, until canon law was fully codified in 1917.
After he finished editing the Decretals, Raymond returned to Barcelona in Spain, where he planned to live a reclusive, peaceful life. He was offered the position of Archbishop of Tarragon, but refused. He was still not allowed to live in seclusion, however, as he was appointed Master of the Dominicans in 1238. Although he was already 63 years old, Raymond immediately set out on foot to visit all of the Dominican houses. He drafted a new set of constitutions for the order, which included a resignation clause for the master. When the constitutions were adopted by the order in 1240, Raymond immediately took advantage of the option and retired within 2 years.
Rejoicing to be free of office, Raymond enthusiastically applied himself to the Christian ministry, working especially for the conversion of the Moors and Jews. To this end, he encouraged St. Thomas Aquinas to write the Summa contra Gentiles, and instituted the teaching of Arabic and Hebrew in several houses of the friars. He founded priories in Murcia and Tunis, and went to help establish the church in the newly conquered island of Majorca.
While in Majorca, Raymond ran into conflict with King James I of Aragon, who he was confessor and advisor to. King James was normally a good Catholic, but often gave in to lustful passions. In this instance, he had brought his mistress with him to Majorca. Raymond repeatedly asked the king to dismiss his concubine, but James refused. Raymond finally said he could stay with him no longer and set forth to leave, but King James said that he would punish any ship captain who brought Raymond back to Barcelona.
This did not deter Raymond, who removed his cloak, spread it upon the water, and tied it to his walking stick as a makeshift sail. He made the sign of the cross, stepped onto his cloak, and sailed the 160-odd miles to Barcelona in the span of 6 hours, where his arrival was witnessed by a crowd of astonished spectators. Amazed by the miracle, King James thereafter renounced his sins and led a good life.
Raymond continued his work against heresy and for the Moors' conversion until his death on January 6, 1275, when he was 100 years old. He was buried at the Cathedral of Barcelona, and is a patron saint of lawyers, and canon lawyers specifically. He is unofficially the patron of making a superb exit because of the nature of his most famous miracle.
St. Raymond of Peñafort demonstrates how it is completely possible to follow the law of the Church without it getting in the way of a true relationship with God. In our day and age, many people shrink from the idea of rules and regulations, but St. Raymond shows how these things bring us closer to God, rather than separate us from Him. He was described as being just but compassionate, and spent his long life working tirelessly for the salvation of others.
St. Raymond of Peñafort, pray for us. Our honorable mentions for this week are
St. Angela of Foligno, St. Adrian of Canterbury, St. Gregory of Nyssa, Blessed William Carter, St. Margaret Bourgeois, and St. Hilary of Poitiers.
And of course, there are thousands of other saints who undoubtedly have their feast days this week, but there are so many of them that there's no way we could list them all here.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Saint of the Week. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Peace be to you.